All right, here we are. Back again for episode 19. Episode 19. I can't believe the internet allowed us to do this 19 times. I'm just shocked that we haven't been thrown off of the internet at best and thrown into jail at worst. But here we are. Welcome to episode 19. I am your humble host, the most humble man on the planet, probably the most humble man in the universe. And when the aliens land, they will know that I'm the most humble person that has ever existed in all the sun, the moon, the stars, the sea, the ocean, and all that good stuff. I am the overlord of the wasteland, the engineer of combat, the big boss with the hot sauce and the star of this by God show, Richard James Regal. I welcome you in. It is a Thursday, the 6th of August, over halfway through 2026, and we are setting the year on fire. Just doing what we do out here in Regal Land, and we are live right now doing that same thing on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. Tons of platforms for you to enjoy this very, very important, super important, I might say, program. YouTube, of course, is Wrestle Radio 860. Wrestle Radio 860, WRESTLERADIO 860. Wrestle Radio 860 on YouTube. Kind of the hub of all things Regal. If you want to know anything about what's going on with this particular program, past, present, and most likely future, it'll all reside right there on that good old YouTube channel. Cruiser's already started his nonsense over in the comments. Feels like he's in jail. Well, guess what? You got a life sentence, Cruiser. You ain't never getting out. Cruiser Lewis, you are never getting out of this jail because you keep bringing yourself back. So I didn't put you there. You put yourself there. It's not like I went over to Cruiser's house and set him down in front of his probably 1942 television with the rabbit ears, and he's tuning in from I don't know, terrestrial. He's holding his rabbit ears, probably got tinfoil wrapped around him to receive this awesome program. So he put himself in the jail that he currently resides in. But if I may continue, Cruiser, Wrestle Radio 860 is, of course, the YouTube channel. That's where all things Regal resides. There are matches up there. In fact, there are matches up there with me just beating Cruiser Lewis senseless. Go look up for those, because those matches are up there. They're on that YouTube channel where I'm just beating him like the dog he is, and giving him the beating he so richly deserves. And it all sits right there on the YouTube channel, of course, starring the one and only Richard James Regal. Twitch, of course, Regalwood6969. Facebook, Ricky Regal, RIKKIREGAL. Rumble and Kick, of course, are Regalwood. If you find this guy right here, this massive giant bulldog that, of course, resembles yours truly, he's maybe a little more handsome than I am, but anyway, that's your mascot, and if you find him, you're in the right spot for all things Regal, my friends. I welcome you in. It is a Thursday. We're live right now. We got the interview today is just awesome. One of my favorite, and I'm going back all the way back to the WLBG days, man. I interviewed most of you in this audience know that I interviewed a ton of guys back in the day. Animal, Boogie Woogie Man, Ricky Morton, the list goes on and on. Sometimes I go through that list and I'm even amazed at some of the interviews I was actually able to get back in the day. And they didn't charge me a dime, by the way. Just putting that out there. They didn't charge me a dime, and got to interview tons of great personalities. But today, Matt Sells, the Boozerweight, of course, Matt Sex Sells. He's wrestled for Ring of Honor. He wrestled for AEW. What a fun, awesome interview I had with this guy, and I can't wait for you to see it. We'll get to it in just a few minutes. It is an hour long. It's man, he's just entertaining guy, and I like him. And we'll talk about how I came to find Matt Sales, and it's funny, he's been around over 20 years, and we've run in the same kind of circles and been to the same places, but somehow our paths have never crossed. And if they have, it must have been just in passing. But it's just amazing that I've never been in a dressing room with that guy, because he gets it. He's one of the guys who's just super fun to be around, super fun interview, and I think you'll enjoy this one. Again, it's an hour long, and I told him during the interview, toward the end, I was like, man, we've been going an hour. It literally seems like we've only been going 5 minutes. Just an entertaining guy. Now, I will warn you, there's a little bit of language. Matt is of the old school, and he will let those expletives fly, as my man Kramer once said on Seinfeld. If you get that, you're cool. If you get that reference, you know what time it is. But a great interview with Matt Sales coming up just shortly here on the big program. And a lot of news today, a lot of big news week, man. A big news week out there in wrestling. Of course, we had SummerSlam last weekend. I'm not going to do a complete rundown of that show, because by now you already know pretty much what happened. There was some news to come out of it. A couple of things. This hit the mainstream since that happened, and we'll talk a little bit about that here in just a second. But before we do anything else, of course, you all know we were interested in how things were going to go over in Abbeville for the big WrestleForce Headlocks for Home Runs event that they had over there this past Sunday. And from what I understand, they drew just under $3,300 to donate to that ball field complex over there that they were raising the money for. They had a really good turnout from what I understand. Had a nice show, and they're talking about coming back. The WrestleForce has not set a date yet that I know of, but they're talking about coming back to Abbeville in the future. So we'll see how that goes. But congratulations to WrestleForce, and of course Hoss Haygood out there doing a lot of work on that thing, and Bob Keller and all those guys out there just doing the Lord's work and getting that thing up and running. Wanted to ask, where's Lace? That's a good question. I don't ever know where Lace is. Lace is like a ghost. She pops in, she pops out. She says she's going to be here, then she don't show up, and then she pops in out of nowhere. Lace, I've called her a vampire in the past. Cruz the same way. Some of you guys I've known for decades, and you still are exactly the same as you were when we first met. And I really believe that Lace maybe is some sort of supernatural being, because, like I said, she'll pop in, she'll pop out. She's there, she's not. She even posted on the she has access to all the stuff over on the Regalwood Rasslin page on Facebook. If you hadn't joined that page yet, you need to do that. Go over there to the Regalwood Rasslin, Rasslin page. It's linked from my page, Ricky Regal, Rikki, and you can join that page. Give it a like, give it a follow. Kind of helps us get the word out. But yeah, she even made a post that she was going to come in and announce some legend who's looking for bookings, and I go to the control room. Let me go look, and here's the sound I get when I go over to the control room looking for Lace. This is how I'm treated on my own show. I'm looking for Lace in the control room. Let me get out of there. Let me go over here, look around over now. Look at some of the other places. No, she ain't there. She ain't there. Back into the control room, and guess what? There. No Lace. All right. Well, maybe she'll pop in with us a little bit later. Hopefully she will, and she can make her big announcement. I have no idea who this legend is. This supposedly wanting to take bookings and that type of thing. But anyway, on with the news. Let's get to a little bit of news, because I really want to get the Matt Sales thing going. Like I said, the big WrestleForce show raised just under $3,300, which was presented to the complex over there. Dory Funk Jr., and this kind of dovetails into our interview that's coming up. Dory Funk Jr. passed this week. I think it was on Tuesday. 85 years old. Legendary, of course. The Funk family just, and what can you say about the Funks? But Dory passed this week at 85. Legend. And how it dovetails into our interview today, Matt Sales, and I didn't know this until we spoke, was trained by Dory Funk Jr. And he tells us some stories about Dory Funk. And I wish this one is pre-taped. We had to record it. Matt's got a crazy schedule. His schedule is almost as wild as mine. And we had to kind of do a pre-interview, actually 2 weeks ago, because I had to get Dion on last week. But anyway, so in the intervening 2 weeks, like I said, Dory passed, but he was still alive when we talked the other week. And Matt told us some good stories about Dory Funk Jr. So that's coming up in the interview as well. So be sure to stand by that. But 10 bells to the legendary Dory Funk Jr. Really quick, and I'm not going into the whole rundown of SummerSlam. I mean, 2 nights. I will be honest, and again, not to be that guy, and I don't say this to be too cool. I'm too cool for the room. Honestly, I don't say it, but I don't follow WWE as closely as I once did. I just don't have time. I just don't have time, and it's all over. It's ESPN, it's Netflix, it's here, it's there, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. But but because of my connection to that world, I do get some information that hits my algo from time to time. So anyway, I didn't know that there were 2 nights. I knew WrestleMania was a 2-night event. I didn't know SummerSlam was, and I don't even know how long ago they started it being a 2-nighter for SummerSlam. I guess this is like the second biggest one of the year for them. Of course, behind WrestleMania. But real quick, night 1 on August 1st, which was Saturday, CM Punk defeated Cody Rhodes, and I don't know if you saw that moonsault, but it almost made my most ridiculous item of the week this week, which will come up at the end of the show. But that moonsault, if you didn't see it, go find it. It's out there. You can't miss it. But the moonsault from Punk onto Cody, which, by the way, Cody started to sell, but then thought better of it. Chef's kiss. Like I said, it almost that close to making the most ridiculous for this week. But CM Punk defeated Cody to retain. Women's Championship, Liv Morgan defeated Io Sky. Hell in a Cell with Oba Femi beat Brock Lesnar. And the news coming out of that on Tuesday of this week, same day we lost Dory, Brock appeared on the Pat McAfee show and announced that he is now officially retired from wrestling. He's done. He's out of there. He's gone. He's done with it. He's had enough. He passed the torch, they say, there in the ring. He brought OB back into the ring, raised his hand, declared OB the future, and declared himself the past. I mean, good on Brock for giving the guy a rub. I mean, good on him for that. Brock is just such a terrible promo, man. I mean, he can't even pass the torch it's like it could have been a moment, right? It could have been a moment because he legitimately did pass the torch, which was good on Brock for doing that. So few guys at his level, do that going out. But Brock did that. But he's such a terrible promo that all he could muster to say was, "Me past, him future." Basically, caveman talking Obifema in. But hey, I guess when you're that talented, you don't have to be able to speak that well. But again, Brock did announce his retirement, his official retirement. He's done with wrestling. And somebody asked if he was going to go and do some Jake Paul fights and would he make some other appearances, and he says no, he is done. We'll see. I mean, Brock's made his money. We know that. We know Vince had him locked into a contract that was just ridiculous. So I'm sure Brock's got plenty of money, and he and what's her face? What's his wife's name? My mind escapes me. Alcohol. I can see her face. Rena Mero. What did she go by? I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure they'll go have a nice life together in his ranch, doing whatever it is they do. 6-man tag match. LA Knights, Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys defeated the Bloodline. Bloodline still a thing? Talk about draining the blood from a turnip. How long are we going to do this Bloodline? Is that still interesting? I know at one point it was huge and it was over, like unbelievably over, but my God. You're still out there milking that thing, huh? All right. 6-woman tag match. Nikki Bella, Brie Bella Page defeated Fatal Influence, JC Jane, Fallon, Sable. Kim pops in with Sable. Yeah, that's there you go. There you go. Sable. Sable, of course, Brock Lesnar's wife. And Laney Reed, I guess I don't have it. Okay, Nikki Bella and them. The Bellas and Paige defeated the Fatal Influence. Night 2, Sunday. World Heavyweight Championship. Roman Reigns defeated Seth Rollins to retain. There was some interesting news come out of that today. Just today, as a matter of fact, where the co-host of a lot of these podcasts, I'm sorry, I will apologize, and this is not a brain thing. It's just I don't know the guy's name, but he co-hosts pods with Arn, with Ric Flair. He co-hosts with Eric Bischoff. Some of you will know who I'm talking about. Anyway, he come out today and basically said that Roman was a one-trick pony who wasn't as over as he would like you to believe he is, which I know that's, and he went in and showed examples as to why. This felt as though Roman was kind of one of those that was forced down your throat and was over because you didn't have a choice but for him to be over because he was so pushed. But that's one man's opinion. Like everything is one person's opinion. I'm sure he'll get heat behind it. I'm sure there'll be a lot of more news come from that. But that was just really that just came out today, and I wish I could have written down his name, but it escapes me. Maybe I'll find it and tell you if you want to go look for that yourself a little bit later. But it's all over the internet right now, so just look up Roman Reigns being dissed, I guess. Undisputed WWE Heavyweight Championship number 1 contender match. Kevin Owens made a surprise return, turning the planned bout into a fatal 4-way triple threat dynamic where he defeated Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, and Gunther to become the number 1 contender. So Kevin Owens back, making it does what it does. Interim Women's Championship. Chelsea Green defeated Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair, and Lash Legend. Lash Legend? What the? All right. Who are these? Who? I know Ricky Regal is not the best name ever. Okay. I don't want to hear that. But Lash Legend? Are they trying anymore? That's not even a good stripper name. Coming to the stage next, gentlemen, is my number 1 girl of the night, Lash Legend. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think that sound good? That's what it sounds to me like. I don't know, Lash Legend. I'm sure she's one of the greatest people to ever step inside the squared circle. But anyway, Lash Legend there was also defeated by by Chelsea Green. United States Championship, Baron Corbin defeated Trick Williams. Intercontinental Championship, Chad Gable defeated Penta. Special attraction match, Danhausen, who I have no problem with, defeated Dominic on a Human Money's on a Pole match. With all due respect to Danhausen, and I think, of course, he's super over, selling tons of merch, making more money than I'll ever see. Excuse me. But Dominic, just a year ago, was white hot. I mean, he was so over that it was almost like this guy could really be something. And now he's jobbing to Danhausen on a gimmick on a pole match. I'm sure there's reasons behind this, and it'll all make sense in the future. But it's I don't understand. And again, I always preface anything I say about the WWE is they're billionaires doing billionaire things. They make way more money than I'll ever see, and they've got this thing down to a science. But I don't understand the booking, and I guess by God I'm not supposed to. But there you go. That rounds out your big 2-night SummerSlam show there for the WWE. Couple of other real quick notes from news. Oh, speaking of birthdays today, Jason Justice, who is a friend of ours, we've known Jason for years. He wrestled all over the Southeast for many, many years. He was part of that WWC crew over there in Brody Chase's outfit, which Brody, of course, trained Jason. He has a birthday today. Happy birthday to him. And Jimmy Van, the Boogie Woogie Man, turns 178 today. Can you give it up for the Boogie Woogie? 178 years old. The Boogie Woogie Man just continues to thrive and survive. And as predicted, right here on this program, some weeks ago, you heard it here first, friends. And if you think this show ain't all about nothing, remember that you heard it here first. Big Cass made his big return to the WWE on Raw this Monday night. I told you he was coming back. You didn't believe me. You wanted to smile and laugh and giggle and joke. But he's back. And he went in and who did he go in? He went in and beat up somebody. Javon Evans, I guess. And so Big Cass back as predicted right here on Regalwood Rasslin by yours truly. And so he's back. We'll see how that goes. Still no word on Enzo. I believe Enzo will be back because let's face it, Cass. I'll just say this about Cass. I always felt like he was what they wanted Baron Corbin to be. Think about what I just said. Baron Corbin, they tried to force feed to you. Big Cass came in and just did it. I feel like if they'd have swapped those two guys, let Cass just go, put Cass in the Baron Corbin spot and put Baron Corbin with Enzo, they probably both would have elevated. I have nothing against Baron Corbin, but I see no charisma out of him whatsoever. And then when he did the gimmick that was confusing before he left last time, where he was kind of like a sad Baron and all that. It's I don't know, man. It wears you out. It sucks the life out of you. But be that as it is, what else? I think I had one more thing here news-wise. Let me see. Oh, yes, I watched the Dark Side of the Ring, the one that just aired. What was it, last night, Tuesday night? The one with the Renegade. Our friend Jim Mitchell is in that one. He's all over that one. I didn't know the story about he and Renegade sitting down having a conversation, and the guy just kind of spilling his heart to Jimmy. Jimmy is really good at his gimmick. He is believable as the devil. So if you didn't know him, you would think he is that character. But Jimmy's a real sweet guy. I mean, he has the biggest heart in the world, and we've had him on this show. He was on some weeks ago, right here on Regalwood Rasslin. This version of the show. But anyway, Jimmy's all over that Renegade show, and man, it's just sad. Seemed like a good guy all the way around, but man, did they bury that kid? Even in his own documentary, Arn Anderson, God love Arn, but woof, the guy's not here anymore, right? By his own hand, had a rough time by all accounts, but Arn's just still just crapping on the kid, and I'm like, come on, Arn, time and place, man, time and place. I'll talk more about that at a later time. We've already gone 30 minutes, and I've got to get this interview up because I don't want to take any more of Matt's time. He's good enough to do the interview. I want to get him in here and have a nice chat with him. Let me check the control room one more time. Let's see if Lace has made it to the control room. Let's look. Here we are. Oh, still no Lace. What do you do? What do you do? I guess we'll do that later. All right, so still no Lace. Maybe she'll come in before the end of the show. Go take a super quick break. Come right back. Less than 30 seconds with our big interview with Matt Sells, the Boozerweight himself. Really good interview. Enjoyed this one a lot. It was super fun. One of my favorites I've ever done since I've been doing this thing. And I'm again going back to the LBG days. So going to take a super short break. When we come back, we'll have our big interview with the Boozerweight himself. And then we'll come back after that, do our most ridiculous, which is super short but super ridiculous. And then we'll call it a day right here on the big program. And that's all coming up next, right here on Regalwood Rasslin. Stand by. right, back here on Regalwood Rasslin. We are live right now on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. Of course, the YouTube channel, Wrestle Radio 860. Wrestle Radio 860 on YouTube. Twitch, of course, Regalwood 6969. Facebook, Ricky Regal, R-I-K-K-I. And Rumble and Kick, of course, are Regalwood. And, of course, there's your mascot right there, that giant guy who looks exactly like me. All right. Up to the interview portion of the program now, and it is my great honor to have on today a guy I've been following a lot lately, or for a while actually, on the socials. And I tell you, this guy, he's entertaining, he's funny, he's got a good gimmick, and he's got a good look, and he's been around a long time. I didn't realize until we were talking earlier how long he actually had been around, and I'll leave that to him to tell you. But without further of my nonsense, welcome to the program, none other than Matt, the Boozerweight Matt Sales. Matt, welcome to the program, sir.
Hey, happy to be here. No, like that was the best thing I could hear is when you were like, "Yeah, I thought you were a kid." Like,
honest to God, I was Matt and I were talking a little bit before in a little bit of preview stuff, and I honestly I didn't know. I really did. I was like, when I was researching for this interview. And it said you'd been around 20 plus years. I was like, well, there's no way that guy's he's in his 20s tops. So,
well, we started following each other on social media like 10 years ago. So like, you thought I was like 4. Like,
he's one of those ageless wonders, like me, just an ageless wonder. Matt, for those of people who may not know you, and I don't remember we've never met in person, and I've never seen you work in person. I've watched a lot of your stuff online, very entertaining. But for all the folks who may not be aware of Matt Sales, tell us a little bit about you and how you got into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think like most people, it was, hey, I was a big wrestling fan. Funny enough, I was not a wrestling fan when I was super young. Like when I was a kid, I thought it was stupid and hokey. And like I was always a huge baseball fan. I got into like comic books and stuff. And then for whatever reason, about like 10 years old, I was like, hey, okay, like something clicked. I like wrestling. All right. Like, especially because like growing up in Georgia, huge baseball fan, like got WCW right there in Braves games. Like, so Ted Turner is responsible for everything that I enjoy in life. And so like just got ultra obsessed with it. I think like most of us do, and played baseball in high school. And one day was like, I'm tired of the politics of high school sports. So I'm going to go somewhere that's far less political. I'm going to join professional wrestling.
Good luck with that, sir.
Right. There's no bullshit that goes on in this, right? Like, so found when I was 15 years old, found that Dory Funk Jr. ran training camps for teenagers. And so working a part-time job in high school at Subway, slinging sandwiches, sandwich artiste, saved my money and got my mom to drive me down from Northeast Georgia to Ocala, Florida to do my first camp with Dory Funk Jr. and was just, in awe and loved it. And I am naturally the most unathletic person you have ever met in your entire life. I'm one of those where you accentuate the positives, cover up the negatives. Yeah. And when you first start training, there's not a whole lot of covering it up. I couldn't do a forward roll. And so like, but still was bit by it and was ultimately drawn to like the character aspect of it. As you know, following me on social media, it's all hokey bullshit. And so, then kept going down to Dory's school, doing more and more camps. Started training with like the older guys down there as a 16-year-old kid, and finished up my training when I met a bunch of guys from NWA Wildside that were down at Dory's, and found out, oh shit, there's a training school an hour away from where I live. Cool. And then trained under Todd Sexton at NWA Wildside and made what I consider my debut October 31st, 2003 with Wildside, even though I'd done some live shows at Dory's school before that.
I had made one trip to that. They call it the Church of Southern Wrestling.
Yeah, Church of Southern Wrestling. Yeah,
that white building out there in a field.
Yep. I went you would never know it was cool. Like you would never know what went through there. Like
exactly. And a bunch of my friends. I never worked there, but a bunch of my friends did. Scotty Wren, Jason Justice. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah.
All those guys and. They actually, trained under Brody and my former partner Mickey there, and so I went down with them one time. Mickey was working in a tag with Scotty there at one point, and I tell you, man, that place it always reminded me of the ECW type
Absolutely.
crowds and arena because I will tell you and you know from working there, those fans were very, I mean, very loyal and you might say rabid.
Yeah, I've got a good story about that. Yeah,
please, yeah,
so
please go.
so getting into the business, you're stupid, you're naive, you don't really know how to do anything correctly. You're a white meat baby face, and you're doing what you think a white meat baby face needs to do. Come on, please cheer,
Yeah,
come on, and
yeah,
clapping every hand of
sure.
where they did the Friday night shows that were like their Friday night franchise that there were 8 people. Well, hello,
That's
eight
nice.
people, 8 people, in the crowd, and they hated me. They fucking hate. I'm a 17, 18-year-old kid. I've got the long hair, generic tights, like whatever. And I wrestling Anthony Henry now, that's of AEW and Ring of Honor fame now, like gives me an inverted body slam, and I don't quite rotate, and it turns into basically a shoot Michinoku driver,
Yeah.
inverted Michinoku driver. And as I come to, I hear somebody in the crowd go, "Next time, make sure you break his fucking neck."
Oh.
So
Oh
to your
wow.
point about that crowd,
Yeah. Yeah, they were certainly, and I know, you know, that was kind of early in the internet days, and there was a lot of message boards and stuff. Everybody didn't have a one of these podcasts at that time, and I know that there was some rabid back and forth that went on about the that place and those fans and people who worked there and stuff. And it just what do you? It was always interesting because they had TV and everything at one point, right?
yeah, absolutely. It was like there was a who's who of indie pro wrestling in the early 2000s that came through that building, and I was very humbled a couple of years ago that Dan Wilson, the Rev, was shared a poster that was all of the famous names that came through NWA Wildside, and it was promo pictures from the time, and I was ready, locked and loaded to like make a smart ass comment about where am I,
Yeah.
until I looked at the poster and I was like, oh shit, I am actually on there. And I was like, okay, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like there were guys that were driving down from Philly and New York and St. Louis, and like I said again, just like a who's who of guys that were like that Ring of Honor, CZW, IWA Mid South crowd that would come in, and like Kenny Omega worked there and John Moxley worked there, and
AJ Styles.
AJ, of course, AJ was like the guy because
Yeah, the
he's
guy.
from
Yeah.
Gainesville. Like, yeah, he's one of those that as soon as you saw the first time, you're like, yeah, he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah,
Like,
he may have a future in this thing. What was some of your better memories of that time that you were at Wildside? Because I know again it was a really big deal for a time, and then it just kind of petered out. But when it was when you were there, what were some of your best memories of that
my
location?
favorite memory. So like I was training and working the Friday night shows, occasionally getting to work TV. So literally like on the Friday night shows, I would always be put in opening match so I could run back and run the lights on after my match. And like, okay, cool. Maybe you're dressed, maybe you're not. Like, come here, pay your dues. So I would do that a lot of times on TV. I was, jack of all trades, the 17-year-old kid having to run the lights and do security and do all this. And so I sat in Gorilla one night running the lights for Hardcore Hell, their biggest show of the year, and they had a guy coming out that was going to be with the baby faces, for the big main event for the War Games match, and that guy was Dusty Rhodes, and so he sat there in Gorilla for 5 hours, and myself and John Johnson got to pick his brain for 5 hours about anything and everything, and it was the absolute coolest.
Wow, I mean that's like going to a master's degree overnight, basically getting it from Dusty.
Absolutely.
What was
I
some of
just
the what were some of the things that Dusty relayed to you?
that he's a Yankees fan. That was always the one that stood out to me. I'm like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
but no, it was just like he was just like just picking apart the selling and like the
Yeah.
timing and just of course like everything he was known for and so great with, and obviously a great promo, and I pride myself on promos. So like and being able to be able to talk, and dude, it was just like one of those where you pay like it's a fantasy camp to be able to do that, and I got to sit there and do it for free.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. Again, that thing was really a big deal for several years too. I mean, it was a big deal. I remember for what a better part of 10 years, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then, do you know what kind of brought that thing to an end? Do you know what the reasoning behind any of that
They
was?
they changed ownership, and then became a couple of different promotions. And then, like, because I was kind of out of the loop, I was coming in and doing, like, stuff here and there occasionally. And then eventually what happened is the building, last year got demolished, but it was like condemned and like, I mean, just look on the outside of it 20 years ago. It was like, this is not functionally sound.
Yeah, for sure. Were you down there when James Mitchell was down there?
I met James a couple of times, yeah.
Did you? Yeah, I remember he was telling me one time that they went to, I guess there's a graveyard nearby there somewhere.
Yeah.
And they went out and cut a bunch of promos overnight. If you know James, he enjoys his refreshing beverage, as do you. And
occasionally.
And he said as the night went on, those promos got more and more unairable. So just everybody that I've talked to a person has had nothing but good stories from that time in Georgia.
So you mentioned a friend of yours that I'll give another good lesson that I learned about 3 years later. Good old Scotty Wren. I was working a show probably like Anderson, South Carolina area, and it was 2005. Other guy and I, again, I'm green, 2-3 years in, and like most of us, we think it's cool to be able to brawl around in the crowd and have no regard for anybody else around you until you start learning that you should. And so, we're throwing each other in chairs and stuff, and we get in the back, and the first person to meet me is Scotty Wren. And he's like, I know you kids like basically everything I just said, like going out there and brawling and doing all that shit. He's like, my family was out there, and if you would hit them, we'd be having a much different fucking conversation right now. Yes, sir. Understood. So I learned about protecting the people around me that night. I'm just happy he was understanding enough to like give me the warning, because he could have, wiped the floor with me.
Yeah. Scotty was always, he's always a good cat, big heart. He reminded me of Bubba Ray. He got that hard exterior, but never a sweeter guy you're ever going to meet. He's really just a good kid with a good heart. But he's had health issues too. So shouts to Scotty. We've chatted a little bit briefly recently, but at some point I hope he'll be able to come on here and tell some of those great stories too.
He was always really nice to me. I was always really appreciative of the guys that were that core group there when I was 17, 18-year-old kid that went out of their way to still be nice to me, because it's so easy to be a dick to people in wrestling and in life in general. So for them to be really cool, it was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good way to come in too with some folks that'll kind of help you through. Instead of the old way, what I came up and it was you just got the hell beat out of you until you figured it out. You know what I mean? So it's
like I came in at a weird time where it was like a hybrid. Like there were guys that were beating the shit out of me, but then there were also guys that were super nice. So I got the best of both worlds, which probably is the reason I've got like so many old school nuances and mentality, but then also I'm a fan of the new school stuff as well. So
I will tell you, and we talked a little bit in the pre-interview there. What really makes me a fan of you, besides your work and besides all the other stuff, is that and we'll get into it a little bit more in a little bit, but that Boozerweight thing, it's almost a throwback to a time that is now long. You're around. I mean, you're current. And, a lot of guys now, their big thing is going and playing video games after matches and playing the Warcraft, whatever it is. But back in the day, our fun was drinking before, during, and after the matches. That's what we did, And so you're kind of leaning into that character persona. How much is that legit and how much is it just gimmickry?
My favorite is when people come up to me after a match and they like smell my clothes and smell me and smell my breath and smell the cup I have. And they're like, oh my God, that's real beer. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, how did you chug 6 of those on the way to the ring and then 2 more during the match and 2 more now? And I was like, well, I chugged 8 before I came out here. So it's the party aspect of it now is like sort of gimmicky to an extent. I do love going out to strip clubs. I do love having a good time, but I like sitting around and drinking. But the alcohol's 100% a shoot, and you would not believe how hard I had to fight to get that gimmick going with promoters and stuff that would yell at me about having beer and stuff, and now promoters buy me beer for me to come out with it. So it's full circle.
that is full circle. I tell you, we had to really to use the insider term, we really had to kayfabe that stuff back in the day because it was very much frowned upon. But that was, I always say, if I would have taken this thing seriously, we could have done a little bit more than what we did. But the wrestling was always ancillary to the party, whereas this should have been reversed to that. You know what I mean? So
like up to the point in my career where like I do it to have fun now.
yeah.
Like it was like chasing the spot. So like now, like I always tell people, a lot of people go out, spend a bunch of money to drink on a Saturday night. I go out, get paid to drink on a Saturday night. Like
That's
not too
just
shabby. Like
yeah, that's just awesome. I mean, it is just entertaining. If you haven't seen any of Matt's stuff, tell real quick, Matt, before we go further, tell people how they can find you online and be able to see some of your stuff.
if you go to, well, I guess, youtube.com/Matt Sex Sells, SELLS, Instagram at the Boozerweight, BOOZERWEIGHT. Yay, fifth grade spelling champion. No, Twitter's or X is at the Boozerweight. Instagram's at All Cells Final, ALLSELLSFINAL.
So you go through several little gimmicks there, and I want to go back just a little bit before we go forward. The Matt sex sales thing, which is again, all your stuff is just makes sense. You know, to me, it's just it's like this guy gets it. How you come up with that particular persona, and how long did we use that before we moved into the Boozerweight stuff?
Gotcha. So, like, the first thing that was ever bestowed upon me, because when I was growing out my hair, which isn't there anymore, but when I had long hair for so long, it was growing out just naturally as a mullet.
Yeah.
So luckily the first thing that did not stick was Rick Michaels calling me the mullet Matt Sells, and it lasted like 3 matches. I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
So I had thought about like doing like Matt Sex Sells because I thought it would work well for a little bit.
Yeah.
Didn't. And then one night working a random show in Rome, Georgia, Reverend Dan Wilson was like, "You're Matt Sex Sells." And I was like, all right, cool. and didn't use it for a while, and then started working at a couple of promotions in South Carolina where they started kind of running with me a little bit as a heel, and finally get to work as a heel. And I was like, all right, I'm Matt Sex Sells, and I'm a 17-year-old virgin as I'm Matt Sex Sells. So it was great. Like, talk about having to really work the gimmick. So, yeah.
Good stuff. How did you transition out of that and become the Boozerweight? And what was the time frame between the two? Kind of
Gotcha. So like it's still like the sex is still there. So it's still the Boozerweight Matt Sex Sells. But yeah, it was, so for a while it was like the hair metal heartthrob.
Yeah.
And then I did the rock and roll model, and that was starting to kind of get to be more of the Boozerweight stuff. And so I was drinking the beer with that and starting to kind of get less from, like, okay, like I'm playing a rock star to, okay, the Boozerweight's me. Like, just I'd rather come out here, drink, have a good time, and fuck you if you don't want to. Like, again, wrestling's a backseat of this to the character. And so I was like, all right, let's kind of transition that out, make him a little bit more of kind of a fun guy, but also a brawler and this and that. So like Boozerweight's been there, geez, probably 10 years at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's it's just fascinating, and I've always been told and was always taught early on, and it takes a lot of people a long time to realize it's the truth, but it's the most successful characters out there are the ones who are that individual just turned up to 11.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like you kind of grabbed a hold of that pretty quickly and amped that up into that gimmick, because living it is different from, you can always tell when it's not.
Absolutely. Yeah. When you're like, yeah, you try to make me a librarian or something, it's not going to happen. But like, like, okay, like I'd like to think I'm a decent actor, but not that good.
Yeah. Again, when you can tell when it's inauthentic, and your stuff just comes across as authentic. And I think one of the things that always makes me laugh, every time I go to your socials, you're in these awesome places and all these great backgrounds. But every picture 201, you're holding that beer in the middle of drinking.
You got to brand it, brother.
So it's always on brand, and I for one definitely appreciate that. Tell me, Matt, some of the stuff that when you first, again, going back to the early days when you were first getting in, was there ever a time when you were like, man, maybe this just ain't for me, or maybe the sacrifice was going to be a little bit too much, or has it always been just hit the ground running and never let up?
When I first started, it was always like just that bright-eyed of like, hey, this is eventually going to like pan out. So never like first starting out, probably about like 10-ish plus years in, there's been several different times where there was like a burnout there. And it's funny because like any other aspect of life, if somebody said, hey, I'm dealing with like some mental health stuff, I'm burned out, you go, hey, take a break, it's okay, like come back when you're ready. And there was always that old school mentality I had of, no, you don't love this business if you don't suffer.
Yeah.
And it's insane.
Yeah. It
So
is.
there were times where like I was like, I want to walk away. I'm not enjoying this. Why am I doing this? And it luckily like I'd find my way out of that and be back to it. And that's why it's so important to me now doing this gimmick and taking the bookings I take now. So I'm having fun with it. Like it's not, especially now because boom, I'm not grinding anymore.
Sure.
Like I travel some, but it's not, hey, let's, do this 12 hours here and then another 12 hours there and then come back and no sleep. And it's like, all right, that's if you want to do that and that's your prerogative. But like some of the best advice I ever got was years ago at a Ring of Honor tryout. Brutal Bob Evans, who we became good friends pretty quick, still like one of my greatest mentors, like would always help me. Look, just grab me after the seminar. I was like, dude, he's like, stop wrestling to get a contract and start back wrestling to have fun again.
Yeah.
And that's honestly like where a lot of the Boozerweight stuff came from, where I was like, well, okay, like, fuck you if you don't think this is good. And I literally started doing a ton of stuff that I'd been told not to do throughout my career
Yeah.
because I thought it was fun. And all of a sudden I got over it. It's weird.
Yeah. No, it really is. And I think that, again, you hear it so much, just be you and have fun with it. But I think you're right, and you're absolutely right in the fact that sometimes we get so hung up in got to make that next town or got to make this next opportunity, whatever, that it becomes a grind instead of just go out there and have fun. And actually, I can relate to that a lot because that's one of the reasons, other than my advanced age, that I kind of started moving away from it was it just wasn't fun anymore, and the guys were always not it became less of a we're all in this together type thing, whereas now it's all about me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, no, it makes total sense because, like, yeah, so much of it is, you're out there, you wrestle. If you're lucky, your main event, you're out there for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that's such a small part of it. And if you're like, and I tell people this, even when I'm having fun, it's funny. Like I drive to a show the whole time on the way to the show. Well, first I get the booking. I'm like, yes, I got this booking. This booking is going to be awesome. En route to the show, I'm like, why the fuck did I take this
Why did I
booking?
do
I'm doing
this? Yeah.
things I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You get there and you start kind of, talking. What do you want to do? I don't know, brother. What do you want to do? And then you're like, fuck. What? And then you start spitballing ideas off each other. And then you're like, oh, I remember why I fucking love this. This is amazing. Then you go out there and you have a match. And it's a really good match. And the crowd's coming up to you afterwards. You're like, hey, let me buy you a beer. That was a really good match. You're like, man, this is great. And then you start taking off your gear and you're like, man, why do I do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
You never break that cycle. But like we chase that high. We chase that getting to
Sure.
call the matches together. We chase the getting to hang out with our, good brothers and chase that 10 minutes we're in the ring. And it's like, yeah, I just spent, 12 hours for a 10-minute high.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely correct, and I mean, that's I remember that vividly. We had found a place kind of toward the end when I was kind of transitioning out, and started going to that, and it was it was like, okay, I remember, like, exactly what you just said. I remember why I did this for so long, because it can be fun, and it can be a lot of fun under the right circumstances. But again, the business side of it sometimes kind of sucks that out of you,
Absolutely.
and so it's hard to ride that third rail, I guess to say. You've had a lot of opportunities with some of the national stuff, and AEW being chief among them, I would think. Tell us about when you the difference between going to a major, you know, television locker room type environment compared to an indie room, and what's the biggest difference that most folks wouldn't even think about?
I think it's funny because like ultimately there's not a whole lot of differences.
Right.
Like it's you go back and you're like, okay, this is like there's a run sheet, whether you're working, Timbuktu butt fuck wrestling or you're working AEW, like it's the same stuff. It's a little bit more efficient, I would say. Like, just like time with Ring of Honor, the few times I worked with AEW, it's the call times are nuts of having to get there and it's a lot of hurry up and wait. Like working TV matches, I love because I love like having to hit the time cues.
Yeah.
And that's when I've helped train people, I'm like, if your goal is TV, man, like you got to learn to hit the time cues. And the crazy thing about working TV too, I always love like that old school approach because I'm sure I've said it, I'm sure you've said it, we'll call it in the ring.
Yeah.
Good luck doing that for a TV company, like because
Certainly.
they got to
Yeah.
know, okay, when are we going to break? Like this is a 3 segment match. Like
Yeah.
you call everything because so like cool, like you learn how to call it on the fly. But if you want to be a wrestler now, like you got to be able to remember a script essentially and remember a match structure, and calling on the fly is great because yeah, if you fuck that up, like cool, now I know how to call it on the fly and I'm not deer in the headlights. But just how regimented everything is within a TV program too, I think is probably a huge difference as well that a lot of indie companies could learn from,
Yeah.
because nobody wants to sit there through a 4 hour show.
Absolutely. I mean, that is so true. I read, I don't know who put it up. Somebody put it up just this week, and I can't remember for the life of me who it was. But there's no reason to have 4 hour shows. You know, if you can't get it in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, then you're doing something terribly wrong. And I wish I could remember who said that, but that's the mentality, especially on this indie stuff. I mean, it's like it's a grind having to sit there for that amount of time.
Like I think it's like it's just a microcosm of society. I think everything with entertainment now, people like, oh, longer's better. You know, you go see these movies now, and like, I want a 90-minute comedy or an hour and 45-minute action movie. Like, get in to get out. I enjoyed it. It's great. Same thing. Like you were talking about playing video games. I do play video games, but like, if it's got a story, I want the story to be 10 hours. I don't want it to be 80 hours because I don't remember. Like,
Right.
I drank and have been hit in the head a lot. I don't remember what I did 10 hours ago. So like,
Certainly.
yeah, but somehow, it's gotten to where like runtime means quality. And it's like, no, like give me a 6 hour miniseries, give me a 2 hour movie. We don't need, give me a 2 hour TV wrestling show. We don't need, everything to be Wrestle Kingdom every day.
Right, absolutely. You mentioned real briefly in there when you were talking about the AEW stuff, match structure. Talk a little bit more about match structure because that's something that I don't think a lot of, especially indie guys, understand. Tell us a little bit about a professional match structure.
Most of it's just kind of understanding the amount of time you have
Yeah,
and then going from there. And I'm a big fan of, I always tell people, I'm like, get really good at the basics, learn the rules so you can break them.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people watching wrestling now, like just fans that aren't even in the industry, really understand match structure, even if they don't realize they understand it. Because all match structure is, from a traditional standpoint, is 5 act play.
yeah,
You got the opening, the shine, the cutoff, the heat, the comeback, the finish.
yeah,
So you learn that structure, and most crowds have picked up on that structure now. So when I try to call a match, that structure's out the window. We may start with, okay, you jumped me because I'm the idiot drinking the beer. Boom. It looks like we're going straight to heat. No, we're not. There's a nice little dip there now. Boom. I hit a Thez press. Boom. Drink my beer. Tease mine. We're going to, boom. Then we're going to do a big extended hope spot during the heat where it looks like it's a comeback. Nope. Oh, we're back to heat. Now we got you again.
yeah.
And so, like, just kind of understanding that structure and then throwing curveballs, because yeah, that structure's been there forever. It's the tale as old as wrestling. So I think
Absolutely.
that's the fun part with calling stuff now.
That's smart, man. I mean, that's a smart way to look at it, and it seems simple, right? But so many people just don't understand that doing that kind of thing, and it's and you mentioned you were doing some training now. I think, man, I know that you probably are. But you're pushing that forward because it needs to be out there, especially the way we then kind of the environment we find ourselves in, especially on the independents right now.
Yeah, I always try to let like people pick my brain, and always tell people, like, even like I ran a seminar years ago, which I need to do more because that was a lot of fun. And I,
Yeah,
I have an education background, so I love teaching people.
yeah,
But like to be able to just like pass on knowledge, I always tell people though, like ultimately the only thing that I'm correcting you on is stuff that I've been yelled at a million times about, and so it's stuck
yeah.
in my head. And I always tell people, like, hey, if you take my seminar, like, congratulations, you're paying much less than I paid for the same amount of information from everybody else I got it from in all the seminars. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, During your times at both Ring of Honor and AEW, who in the back surprised you with how helpful they were when you arrived?
Like with Ring of Honor, like he does not get put over enough as Cheeseburger. Like Cheeseburger, because like when I came into Ring of Honor, like I started doing tryout camps, then eventually was like, I want to try to give this a go. Packed up my shit, moved from Georgia to Philly, and trained in the dojo up there for 5 years. Worked on the crew, and like Cheeseburger had just started getting into the business, and he's like a freaking savant, and like just knows everything about like structuring lucha, the Japanese strong style to Southern Gaga bullshit, and it's
Yeah,
amazing. And I always would joke with people and go, "Cheeseburger trained me," and they're like, "How long you been working?" I'm like, 24 years. I'm like, "How long is Cheeseburger working?" Like 14 years. I'm like, how's that possible? Like, I leave it up to you.
Yeah.
So like he was always one of those people that he would really go out of his way to go at bat for me. Like if hey, we got the spot, like stick cells in it. And like same with like Steve Carino. Steve Carino was incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Kevin Kelly the same way. Like Carino, Bob Evans, and Kevin Kelly were like the people like championing me. And I yelled at Steve one night because he got me pulled out of a squash. And he's like, "This is below you. This is not your spot." And I'm like, "Okay, like, but they're not putting me anything better. What the fuck is my spot?" And I apologized afterwards because it was out of frustration. But it was like,
Sure.
okay, like, but like, yeah, that happened a couple different times with like him and Kevin Kelly, which was coming from a place of love and respect because they were like, "This isn't you. Like, you're better than this." So like, they were always extremely helpful and really good mentors.
That's awesome stuff, man. Is there somebody at either company or even other places that you still hope that you can get back in the ring with at some point?
Oh God, name it.
Yeah.
Anybody I haven't been in the ring with from those companies, absolutely. And then like I mentioned, Cheeseburger. I want to wrestle him again. Like I'd love to wrestle Steve Carino. I know he's still doing some indie stuff,
Yeah,
even
he
with
is.
his NXT stuff. Like I'd love to wrestle Steve. Like anybody and everybody. I'd love to wrestle the Young Bucks. I'd love to wrestle Kenny Omega. All the stereotypical answers, of like, hey, everybody that's on TV, I want to wrestle all of them.
Yeah. You had speaking of the Bucks, you had a big spot with them at one point, and I remember that thing replayed a lot where they hit you with the kick there on the entrance. Tell us a little bit about how that came about.
So that was when they were just starting AEW, and I
Yep.
had known the Bucks from Ring of Honor. And you talk about eating super kicks because it's always like, "Sales, you want to eat a super kick for the spot?" Sure, all right. Like I've probably taken more super kicks than anybody in the business. Like, so I was down there to do extra work for whatever it wasn't like it was no, it's not Bash the Beach, but like whatever they were calling that one that they were doing in Daytona. So we were down there. We were supposed to do extra work for as the like when the Dark Order had like the minions all around and
Yeah.
everything. So there was a spot that night that I was under hood doing that nobody knew that was me as well. But they needed somebody that Kenny Omega wanted to parody the old SmackDown backstage random vignette they did before a Batista match where a kid runs in, like
Yeah.
20-year-old kid, and did the Batista thing and then runs off.
Yeah.
And Omega had this like vision of like, hey, I want to do that. The announcers are going to sit out, boom. And so like QT Marshall runs the school here. He was like, hey, he's like, I know you might like making an idiot out of yourself. You want to do that? I was like, fuck yeah, I want to do that. And so like we're running through the spots for what we have to do with Dark Order, and they're like, "Hey, go talk to the Bucks." And they were like, "Oh, cool! Like, it'd be easy to work with you with this." And I was like, "What's the spot?" And they're like, "I don't know. This is Kenny's spot." And then Kenny walks up and he goes, "Dude, it can't be you." He's like, "I needed a small nerdy guy." And I'm like, and I'm in a tank top, and I go, "Dude, it's okay. I'll put on a shirt."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh no, no." He's like, "It's fine." And so like they pitched the spot to me, and so like I go sit out in the crowd, and they don't Iggy security, they don't Iggy
Oh wow.
the announcers, anybody, because they wanted to play it as a shoot. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna get tackled.
Yeah.
So I jump the barricade, do the Batista, they have the lights go out, they come up, yeah, and they're standing over me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
I was like, this is not gonna end well. Like I'm just gonna get punched by a Daytona Beach police officer.
Yeah, they're gonna drag you out screaming. Yeah, that's good stuff. What else is some great memories you had for your time at either Ring of Honor or AEW that you will always carry with you no matter what?
Geez. Like getting to work center stage. Like there was a night where I worked 2 matches in center stage, like same night. And like just getting the amount of just wrestling history in that building and getting to be, just like, hey, I'm there. Like, and
Yeah.
from Georgia, like that was the absolute coolest. When I'm being against Hangman Adam Page, like his first match back from his first tour of Japan. And like obviously turn on the TV and you see where he's gone now. Like yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, just like that's a huge memory. Like just getting to work with so many different people. And I took a table bump as a security guard on live pay-per-view from Tongaloa. That was fun. got to work with Rhino and cut a promo and have him. He was the nicest dude. Like
Yeah.
so cool. Like
Yeah,
just a lot of really good memories. Like
I've
yeah.
always heard good things about him. He's just really super nice guy. Switching back to the Indies a little bit, Matt. It's changed a lot over the years, and we'll talk a little bit about socials. We talked about your socials. Do you think it's easier today to get over or harder because there's so many people out there, or do you think the socials make it kind of easier to get your stuff out there?
I think it's a like a probably a gray area.
Yeah.
Like I think we're so much more accessible now,
Yeah.
and like times in the past where I've really worried about generating content and did a web series and all that stuff. Like I had people that were coming up to me telling me like, "Hey, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of your wrestling work, but I watch your stupid little web series every week and I want to buy a T-shirt." So like that amount of exposure can be a really good thing, and it can draw fans in that aren't necessarily your people, which is pretty cool. But it's also can be overexposure too. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like why do I have to turn on the TV or go buy a ticket to see Matt? Because I can just boom, log into social media and see them all the time. So it's almost saturation with the market of feeling like there's always been a ton of indies.
Yeah.
But just now, like the average fan knows there's a ton of indies because you
Right.
can just see it everywhere. So,
Certainly.
so it's probably both ends of the spectrum.
Is that why you stopped doing your web series because you felt like it was maybe a little overexposure, or was there another
I
reason?
I stopped doing it because everybody started generating content. I did it to be different, and once everybody was doing it, I stopped doing it. And the number of people that will go, please bring that back.
Yeah.
Please bring it back. And I go, I may. It's just like I always tell people when they see me come through the curtain after drinking 12 beers and humping somebody, and they're like, oh, it's like you're so over with that. Like, and I was like, yeah, I figured it out. I was like, because nobody else on this show is doing that. And I was like, when everybody else figures this out, I'll put on the black trunks and kick pads, and I'll do that because I'll be the only one doing that, and y'all all do this. Like it's just trying to separate. On top of the fact that like I literally did 150 weekly episodes of that,
Yeah.
and wasn't just like where it's like, oh, let's do something stupid. Like I was writing and trying to like really
Yeah.
come up with like I'm a big fan of comedy, but like there's good comedy, even if it's stupid comedy. There's good, well-crafted comedy, and there's the bullshit you see on social media now. And I never wanted it to be that, and it was getting exhausting at the same time too.
Yeah, no, look, I get that entirely because I mean this is a weekly thing I do here, and it's absolutely sometimes just mind-numbingly draining to trying to pull this thing together. Last week's or a couple of weeks ago when I had a show, it just fell apart at the seams, and you got to kind of pick yourself up and keep moving. But I will tell you from watching that stuff that was very entertaining content that you were putting out, and if any, is it still it's still available out there?
Yeah. If you go to my YouTube page, youtube.com/Matt Sex Sells, yeah, it's all there. I've actually got playlists of it of like different episodes, and that to me was always like a fun time capsule too of being able to grab like guys that I either knew or guys I didn't know and pitching bits to them and them being cool, not only cool with it, but really, really being cool with it. Because
Yeah.
the best one was Scott Steiner, because Scott Steiner was in a separate locker room, and I knew the promoter, and I was like, "Do you think Scott would like do something?" He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know." I was like, "Can you go ask him?" He's like, "You can come with me." And like we went. I was like, and I pitched the spot to him, and he looks at me, and goes, "That's funny. Yeah, let's do it."
Yeah.
And we did it. It's just him like just laying into me and doing the Steiner math thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it." And I go to walk off. He goes, "Hey, you don't want to watch it, make sure we don't need to reshoot it." And so I watched it. Like it could have been the absolute worst. The audio could have sucked. I'm not asking Scott Steiner to like
Yeah.
refilm something.
Right.
And we watched it, and he laughs. He goes, "You good with that?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm really good with that."
That's dynamite. That really is. Again, if you haven't seen any of Matt's stuff, that we're talking about his web series he did for a while there, it's very entertaining. It's still funny and it holds up. And go check that.
You're making me miss it. Now I'm gonna have to fucking do it again.
Well, if you do, I would love to have a spot at some point.
Oh, you're damn right. You're damn right.
Hey, book me, brother. That type of thing.
I was gonna say it'd take 10 years to get that done too.
It may, but hey, at least the offer's been proffered, right? What do you think some misconceptions fans have about independent wrestling?
Ooh, that's a good one. I feel like I should have had some prep for some of these questions. This isn't the usual. So
Right.
tell me how you got started.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Right.
Like misconceptions. That like all indie wrestling is the same. I think like for like some of the like the I don't want to say lower fans, but like the not in the know fans, and I think on the opposite end of the spectrum too is the like that tribalism of like the fans that are like, I only watch this thing and this, because I'm like, you're just as bad as the people that are like, oh, like enjoy it. You
Yeah.
know, like, and I think the misconception within indie wrestling is marketing it, thinking that, oh, everybody doesn't think it's the same thing. You
Mhm.
know, like, because like everybody, well, they can't run this down because they're like they just see wrestling on the marquee, literally. Like it's if for a lot of indie wrestling fans, it's like let's go see the wrestling show, and that's it. And so like to try to differentiate yourself can be a little difficult.
Yeah, that's a big key. But some of that too, though, Matt. Wouldn't you agree that sometimes it becomes almost, and I hate to use cookie cutter because there is so much of that now. That's why somebody like you really sticks out to me because I always enjoy not not the gimmick, but the somebody who has more without. In other words, somebody who has something to say, and your
Yeah.
character has something to say, and I think that's something that a lot of people can't make the two make sense.
Yeah, and like yeah, and ultimately understanding, I think two different things. That number one, like wrestling's built on conflict and characters, and I think a lot of times that's getting lost with a lot of indie wrestling now. That like we grew up watching Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and like we want people that like you can actively boo and cheer and understand immediately what they're about, and then also it's built on competition, like so looking like you're trying to win a match even if you are the dude drinking beer and humping, like
Yeah,
I'm trying to win the match because that means I get the winner's purse and I'm going to be able to drink more beer, like
yeah,
and just and having understanding, I think as a character having that motivation. I think a lot of people don't understand the motivation of their character, and like some of the best advice I ever got at a Ring of Honor trial, Truth Martini told everybody, who's a fantastic trainer, was like, you should know what your character would do in every situation, just like you would in real life. And like, so that to your point of like, all right, with your personality turned up to 11, I
yeah,
that's easy for me to do. I kind of know like
yeah,
Matt sex sells is a little bit more skeezy than Matt sells, so there's stuff he'd do a little bit differently, but for the
yeah.
most part, it's the same thing. Like, what would Ricky Regal do if he had to walk an old woman across the street? What would Ricky Regal do if Matt Sexel's offered him a drink? And a lot of times, people don't like in the business. You
Right.
ask them that, and they don't know the answer.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Ricky Regal would trip the old lady and they
Yeah,
go
there
get
you
the beer.
go.
You know.
And yeah, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to share a beer with you, man. That's kind of
Yeah.
fucked up. Like, and I'd go back and help her up and go, okay, if you're buying now, we're cool. See,
Yeah.
like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
even if I'm a baby face, I'm like, okay, I
Right.
did the baby face thing, but still, you're buying beer, man. I'm cool with you.
I'm
Like,
cool with it. Exactly. Speaking of babyface and heel stuff, what do you enjoy most? Do you enjoy the babyface side or the heel side? Which one speaks to you more?
so I enjoy being challenged, and
Hmm.
so I've been working babyface almost exclusively for pretty much everywhere I've been working for probably about 10 years. And so before I got hurt, before I tore my ACL in December, I turned heel 4 months prior to Action Wrestling, where I've been the ultimate babyface there in Tyrone, Georgia. And so that I was thoroughly enjoying because it was getting to go out there and say stuff that I really felt, and it was coming across as very authentic. And so I'm looking forward to kind of picking that back up. So I enjoyed that because they were able to scratch that itch and still be babyface everywhere else, which is the really nice thing about the indies, and
Yeah.
nice thing about crowds kind of understanding. Like, hey, like even if I saw you as a heel here, you're a face here. I kind of understand. But then that was also at the same time very frustrating because then people were cheering me, and I'm like, no, like I know this is a heel turn, but everything that just came out of my mouth for this past 5 minutes is 100% shoot, and I really am frustrated. And I told Matt Griffin, who runs Action as the promoter, to his credit, I told him, I was like, the promo is going to be me going out there, and it's going to be literally stuff that I've texted you for the past like couple of years, and
Yeah.
I'm airing out dirty laundry, like, but ultimately you figure out how to make it heelish, and like I always think, okay, if I'm a heel, I know exactly what babyface Matt Sexels would say to me.
Sure.
Yeah, like 'cause I'm like, dude, you're a whiny little bitch. Like, get over
Yeah.
it.
It's fascinating to me. Clearly, I mean, you understand this thing, and you've really put some thought into your character, and all of that. What do you attribute to the guys who are just they want to invest all this money in gear and all that, which is great, but don't you agree? Would you agree that investing just as much into character development wouldn't that be just as important? Certainly, I do because I was always a character. You know.
Yeah, like it's all equal, and it shouldn't be separate. Like, yeah, it's all like you said, an investment. That's the best way to put it. You got to invest in yourself, and investing in yourself includes investing in your body, whether it's being in really fantastic shape or being weird looking in some way.
Yeah.
It's knowing how to talk or not talk if that's your character. It's knowing facial expressions. It's knowing how to work or not work, or how would your character work. Like, and ultimately, I think a lot of it's experimentation, and that's where I think social media can hurt people as well, because it's just like doing like stand up comedy. Because I've done open mics before, like stand ups go and they work on stuff at open mics that they're going to eventually use for a special, and they may fucking bomb,
Mm-hmm.
and they get to do that. Where do you get the bomb with wrestling now? Like, I
Right.
love trying new stuff, and it may not work.
Yeah.
And okay, cool, it didn't work. Now it was live streamed on IWTV. I'm like, cool, everybody saw this shitty new gimmick I was trying to do. I guess it's back to the drawing board. And so, like, sometimes it's very easy to get lazy and play the greatest hits. And if that
Yeah.
greatest hits is guy in black trunks and kick pads, then why would you want to venture out? And
Wow.
you've got that small little microcosm of people that are kissing your ass and telling you're awesome. Like, why would you?
So smart, man. Just a smart take on on all of that. Um, there's so much I want to talk to you about. We're coming up almost on 45 minutes here, but there's so much.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I
We're
love the
about.
sound of my own voice.
There's so much I want to talk to you about, but real quick before I get you out of here, you were injured. Tell us a little bit about that. How's your recovery coming?
Absolutely. So yeah, December 5th, was working a match, me versus Joe Black, payoff for the heel turn at Action. Took him coming off the top rope with a cutter for the finish, and just felt a stretch in my knee. Didn't think anything about it. Sold up for a spear. Walked out. Grabbed a couple of beers. Went home. Got home. Had a few more beers. Like, my knee's a little bit swollen. Turned out, finally getting it diagnosed like 6 weeks later, I complete ACL tear and a complete meniscus tear, medial
Wow.
meniscus tear. I've just been like, continue to wrestle on it, continue to work out
Yeah.
on it. Like, yeah, you
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And so finally had surgery March 10th. Surgeon got in there. Is like, yeah, he's like, I think you tore your meniscus months before. He's like, I think
Wow.
we noticed it like on the MRI. So yeah, a pretty good bit of my meniscus taken out,
Oh wow.
ACL like repaired, and recovery's going really well. Because luckily I tore my other ACL years ago, and so I knew what recovery looks like with that. On top of the fact I have a background in kinesiology, so I kind of pushed myself a little bit more than I should, but with good results. And my physical therapist agrees, and my doctor agrees, and so I'm hoping to be back in the ring very soon. So it's feeling good. It's just that issue with an ACL where you're like, hey, it doesn't matter if you feel good. It's pretty easy to re-tear it when it's in that vulnerable state.
Yeah. Well, best of luck in your continued recovery there, man. I
We're,
really
we're
had.
going to pull you out of retirement for my comeback match.
Oh yeah. That. Good luck with that, sir.
What would it take? What would it take for you to come work me?
What's your budget?
That money.
Yeah, exactly. What's your budget?
I'll get you a 12 pack and we'll split it.
That goes a long way. That certainly goes a long way. Matt, I want to go outside of wrestling just a minute, and I know we've been going long, but I got to ask you about the whole drama and the controversy you ran into at a Braves baseball game. That fascinated me. I thought it was a work, and I'm like, no, this is real.
The number of people that thought it was a work, because it's so on brand for the Boozerweight Matt.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And so like I hate it because I was like having to come out of character on social media, because I'm trying to like rake the Braves and Major League Baseball over the coals, rightfully so. And people are like, yeah, fuck the Boozerweight. That is me turn heel. I'm like, no, this isn't an angle. Or people are like, yeah, of course the Boozer. I'm like, no, like, please tell them I'm a good, like, nice church going, like, like something like, let's make shit up. Come on, like, but not like so. If you're a baseball fan, like this season, the tarps off thing became a thing in St. Louis. Like, it's just dudes like taking their shirt off, just having a good time at a ball game, kind of like soccer hooligans, like whatever. And so, like, if you go to a ball game with me, I always tell people, like, I'm the most boring person to go watch a ball game with. I'm gonna sit there and just drink beer, and like, I fucking love baseball, and so I just sit there and quietly watch a baseball game for 3 hours. I'm not that, but so like, I was like, all right, like, I want a picture with the beer with the shirt off. That's literally all I want. So game went in a rain delay. I'm just already drenched. I'm like, here's my fucking perfect picture. Boom, boom. I'm out of there. And as I'm walking out, I hear, you got to put a shirt on. And security guard gets right in my face. And I go, why?
Yeah.
She goes, you have to. And I go, thank you. Like, but where were you yesterday when all the guys had their shirt off? If you don't put a shirt on, I'm going to throw you out of here. And I go, well, I'm actually planning on leaving. I'm drenched right now. A security escort would be really nice. She's like, all right, cool. I'm going to walk you out.
Yeah.
So like, that's what I started. Like, I was like, I went to social media. I was like, I've got a live stream because like initially I was like, if nothing else, I've got to have this just because it's content. Like I was like,
absolutely
to your point of like, and then like I wish I hadn't stopped recording. She stepped on my foot, and I turned around. I was like, hey, like I tore my ACL. Like, can you please not step on my foot? And she literally goes, if you keep walking, I won't have to step on you. And I wish I had that recorded because I'm like, that's a threat. So like I went round and round with like a couple different people in the Braves organization. And they were all incredibly nice. So like kudos to the Atlanta Braves, kudos to their head of security, who I met in person because he's like, next time you're here, let me know.
Yeah.
And like their guest relations people and him and everybody were like, yeah, she handled that 100% wrong. But yeah, they gave me like some of their giveaway stuff for some of the games I didn't go to because I was pissed off. And he's like, dude, you got my number. Like if anything happens in the stadium, like let me know. And so like I feel like I just got to find myself in an altercation at Truist Park to see if that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. I was when I saw that again. First thing I was like, "Is this a work or is this is legit?" Because
I'm not that smart. Like I think I'm reasonably intelligent, but I don't think I'm that smart to orchestrate that kind of work because that was fantastic.
It really was, and again, so on brand,
right?
Like, perfectly on brand.
Like, of course, that happened to Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. One more thing I'm curious about before I hit you with my final question here. And I've told you this. I think I messaged you one time. That rat trap thing you do. I am such a fan of that because it's smart and it makes sense and it actually fits the name outside of what we know, as what a rat trap may be. But the move is just fantastic. How did that all kind of come together?
So anybody that's listening, watching that hasn't seen it, so the issue now with is that what's her name on WWE? Stephanie Vacura. She uses it and calls it the Devil's Kiss. So like everybody's like, oh, I literally had a fan come up to me like months ago before I got hurt. It was like, oh, I liked when you hit the Devil's Kiss. That was a good tribute. I was like, motherfucker, I've been doing that for 15 years. Like, so I will give the Devil's Kiss his due. I stole it from Alex Shelley. Alex Shelley was the first person I ever saw do it. He doesn't use it much anymore, if ever. So like when I started doing the Matt Sex Sells gimmick, I was like, what's more sexual than humping somebody in the mat? And then now it's just become, I find like the most creative ways I can use it and get into it. Like I've like had people slide in the ring, like after powdering out, I slide straight in to go straight into it. I've done it out of like tilt-a-whirl head scissors and victory rolls. I've used it several times in action wrestling to win via ref stoppage, because like, I'm a badass. I won via ref stoppage. How'd you win? I humped a guy to death. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, but it fits with the gimmick, and I love it. And it's figuring out new ways to do it. It's, like I sit on somebody's head and drink beer before I do it. It's just figuring out different ways to, it ultimately, it goes back to entertainment value and just figuring out what fits your character.
Yeah. And that absolutely, again, being on brand, that thing, when I first saw you do it and then when you just called it the rat trap, I was like, this guy's my guy. I like this guy.
And a number of people who don't understand why the rat trap is funny, because again, you talk about the new guys. So you should call it this and this and this, and like it's the rat trap. It will always be the rat trap. We're not like, because I'm glad like the PC police haven't come after me on that one. Like, exactly. We don't call them rats anymore. But.
Right. Just such good stuff. Let's see. I did have a couple of. If you got just another.
Dude, you're good. Like we've been trying to do this forever. Like let's turn this into a 10-parter. Just pick it up.
We really have trying behind the scenes stuff. I've been trying to get Matt on for a good long while, and our schedules haven't jibed up until now. But man, I tell you what, I definitely want to have you on because there's so much more to go into with you, and I'd love to have you on again in the future.
Absolutely.
What's real quick, and these will just come kind of quick. What's the best crowd you've ever wrestled in front of?
Getting to wrestle in the ECW arena in front of that crowd was really cool. As far as like just personal for me, the match where I broke the losing streak. God, we can do a whole episode on that. I went to bat for myself. This was 2018, 2019, and pitched a losing streak across every promotion I worked for. And you would not believe the arguments I had to have with promoters that you can put me in there with anybody, I just can't go over.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite of most wrestlers,
Sure,
but
absolutely the opposite. Yeah.
the payoff of when I finally won a match. I lost 83 matches in a row.
Wow.
So the payoff when I finally won, it was hair versus money, me versus Eric Royal at Action Wrestling. Back when I had hair and it meant something. So the reaction with that crowd were like the live feed on the IWTV, like the cameras were actually shaking. Like that was really cool.
Wow, that is cool. Besides yourself, of course, who do you feel like is somebody that people need to keep their eye on that may be up and coming or maybe have been out there for a while?
Oh, let's see. Jaden Newman, just because I've been in the ring with him a million times, I've feuded with him a million times. Got to put him over. He's fantastic, and he's one of those that really started learning character and the nuances of that, and definitely like was just like learned how to put it all together. God, that's who really stands out to me right now.
Tell me somebody who would be your absolute dream match, past, present. You know, who is it that you would love to have had that one shot with, or may have that one shot with?
Like my inspiration for getting into wrestling was Mick Foley, like reading his book. Like
Yeah.
obviously it's totally different styles, but he's one of those that understood when to do comedy after doing the hardcore legend stuff. So like him, Chris Jericho, because if you hear the gimmick voice for me, a lot of times it's Chris Jericho. And then anybody that knows me knows Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like obviously, like half my moveset I've completely lifted from him. So me versus Steve Austin would be amazing.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Tell me, what's your biggest pet peeve?
God, again, we have to do more episodes. Geez, biggest pet peeve. Like just rapid fire people playing their music out loud in public. People not just people not treat this encompasses it all. People not treating others the way they want to be treated.
Yeah.
I feel like, I feel like literally, like you can be religious, you can be atheist, you can be anything in between. Like if you live your life that way, like, hey, would you want somebody standing up and talking in front of you if you were at a movie? No, okay, don't do it at a baseball game. Would you want to hear me playing Pantera if you're not a metal fan? Cool. Why are you playing country or hip hop at the pool? Like, like just think for half a second. Would I want somebody to treat me this way? And those are such small, minuscule examples. Obviously, there's much worse shit you can do. But you talk about pet peeves, and that's the shit. So like, just ultimately, people who don't, observe the golden rule.
Golden rule, yeah, absolutely. Man, this has been a pleasure. This hour has zipped by. I mean, it really has.
Kidding, dude.
You're a super entertaining guy. If anybody, please go find Matt's stuff. He's a talent. He gets it, and he is just all around a good guy. One last thing before I get you out of here, Matt, is let's just say 20 years from now, when fans look back on your career and what you've done, what do you hope that they remember about Matt Sells?
He looked like he was having fun wrestling, and he entertained me.
Yeah. Well said, my friend. Well said. Man, that's I'm going to let you go. I want to get you back in. Tell the people before we cut you loose here. Tell everybody again how they can get a hold of you, what you got coming up, and I know you're still recovering. But when do you plan to be back in that ring?
Absolutely. So check out youtube.com/MattSexSells. On Instagram, it's All Sales Final, ALLSELLSFINAL. On the X, I still want to say Twitter, but I guess it's the X, at the Boozerweight. And like I'm just kind of randomly making some appearances here and there, so you don't necessarily know where you're going to see me right now. I hope to be back in the ring full time by the fall. When I am, you will see me at places such as Action Wrestling. Yesterday, I was just at Deep South Wrestling. I'm their director under the influence, their assistant general manager. Awesome. You'll see me there. You'll see me at Classic City Wrestling, that I absolutely love working for. You'll see me anywhere and everywhere. within a Music City Pro Wrestling. God, I don't want to like not put over anybody. Like here, I think I've got a list.
Yeah, run that list down, man. Do it.
Because I want to put everybody down. Put everybody down. I want to do that. Put everybody over that I think I have put down on a list. So yeah, like Action Wrestling, Classic City Wrestling, Apex Wrestling out of Augusta, Georgia, Renegade Championship Wrestling, Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, Music City Pro Wrestling, Georgia Premier Wrestling, Deep South Wrestling, and any and all of those and so much more. So yeah, if you want to book me, book me.
Outstanding. If Matt Sells is on the card, you will be entertained, you will have a good time, and you will enjoy yourself. Matt, man, thank you so much for doing this. This has been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. And I definitely want to get you back in here in the future, and Godspeed, brother. And if there's anything we can do here, I know we're not a big corporation, but if there's anything we can ever do, please give us a shout, my friend.
Just we gotta find ourselves together in person and have some beers together. That's the only thing I'm holding you to.
Sounds great, my man. Sounds great. That's Matt Sells. What a great guy. What a fun interview, and I appreciate him coming and doing that. Check him out. Go look up some of his stuff online, because he gets it, and a lot of people you can't say that about these days in any part of this thing, but he's one of the good ones, and I appreciate him doing that again. All right, quick break. We'll come back. We'll finish up with our most ridiculous item of the week, and then we'll get out of here and do it again maybe next week. All right, stand by. More coming after the jump right here on Regalwood Rasslin. All right, back here on Regalwood Rasslin. Man, how fun was that? I mean, if you didn't enjoy that interview, then something's wrong with you, because he's just a good guy, man. Matt Sells, again, thank you again for doing that interview with me. I really enjoyed it. Such a good time, and just such a fun guy. And you can just tell he just, the guy's just got a good spirit about him, and I really enjoyed talking to Matt. And I can't wait to talk to him again. And by the way, was that not the most well-behaved cat you've ever seen in your life? Did you notice the cat behind him? If you didn't, make sure you catch the replay of this on YouTube, Wrestle Radio 860 on YouTube. It'll replay there immediately following the end of this broadcast, which is quickly approaching because we're already at an hour and a half. All right. And by the way, before the interview, I mentioned about somebody talking bad about Roman. It was Conrad Thompson. He co-hosts with Eric Bischoff on his 83 Weeks podcast, and he also does some stuff with Flair, and I think he even does with Arn. I don't know how Conrad got so entrenched in the with the legends there, but anyway, Conrad was on the 83 Weeks thing, and basically he was talking about Roman Reigns and said that he was probably the most overrated main eventer in WWE history, and said that that Roman was Goldberg if Goldberg worked more than 10 minutes a match. So pretty biting comment there from Conrad. Says he goes on to say some other things about flies in, takes 12 minutes to get to the ring, wrestles kind of the same match, does it really, really slow, gets his hand raised and moves on. And then the comment about Goldberg, if Goldberg more than 10 minutes. Conrad, I don't know what his pedigree is, although clearly he's got one because he's always with the right people in the right places. But that was the comment, and that's who said the thing about Roman Reigns. All right, most ridiculous time. We're going. This was 24 seconds. I think it's not long at all, and it is graphic. I will tell you that. I will forewarn you. So if you don't like if you don't like stuff like that, then you may well go ahead and tune out now. You're not going to miss anything else, trust me. But real quick, our most ridiculous item of the week comes to us again from Not Falling Studios. This one is simply called Acupuncture. And it comes to us again from Not Falling Studios. If you want to follow them, they're on Facebook, Not Falling Studios. And this is, I think, from a GCW show. So that kind of tells you what you're about to get. But without further, let's watch our most ridiculous item of the week, shall we?
Vantage. Oh, but it's low. Sicko. Sicko the clown sent. Oh, full porcupine.
Full porcupine, they say. I mean, I didn't cut the volume. That's the slow-mo recap, so you can get the full.
Vantage. Oh, but it's low. Sicko. Sicko the clown sent. Oh, full porcupine.
His name's Sicko the Clown. Sicko the Clown. I would concur with that name most certainly. I don't know what's. I don't know what that. I don't know what that accomplishes. I don't know what that gets you. I don't know why would we do that? Why? I'll never understand it. But anyway, that's your most ridiculous item of the week. I want to thank you all for joining me. Let me check before we get out of here. One last check in the control room. Let me see if Lace is in there. Let me pop in to see if Lace is in the control room. Disappointed again by Lace, just not even popping in today to wish us well. All right, well maybe we'll get Lace in next week. Next week we're scheduled for episode 20. The milestone 20th episode will be next week. I do not, as of yet, have a guest. So if you want to be on the program, unlike Lace, who can't seem to find their way to the showtime, but if you want to be on a part of the program, hit me up, Ricky Regal at Gmail, or at KKIREGAL, or hit me up on the Facebook page, Ricky Regal. This again, we're immediately following. If you missed any or all of today's program, especially go back and check out Matt Sales, because what a great guy, what great interview. And that'll all be there on the YouTube channel. All right, that's going to do it for this one. I do appreciate you for popping in and joining me today. And we'll do it again next Friday at 3. God willing, and the creek don't rise. And until then, friends, I will see you down the road.
Bye.